Hi students, good morning. So today in this class we discuss about Substance Painter. So before we start with about Substance Painter, we need to know about few details like why we have to go for softwares like Substance Painter and what is the need of it. So it lies as a major question for all. Take for example here. So let me create a cube here, and the cube up here, and we have, and when you right click and when you assign a new material, for example, let me go with my Arnold standard surface shader. There you could see that we have a color. So here we can give direct color, we can give a color, or we can apply a material. We can click that, then a file, then we have to go to the location, then we have to take some file here and there. Look at that. So we can select some files. So this is how it goes. So this is for color. Great. Let me right click and break connection. Great. So now the color is like this. Great. Then similarly we have a metalness. Metalness will tell you about how much metalness you want. Is it like a specular, a short metal, or a metal with diffused like a plastic or kind of thing. Then we have a roughness. Roughness tells you about how the light has to be reflected from the object. So it's mostly used to find out if a light is concentrated on a single place or area, we call it as a specular. Whereas if the light is just scattered everywhere, we call it as reflection. So these are some kind of differences we have, the metalness. And then we have a subsurface scattering. It's just like a transmission and kind of those things. Look at that, emission, thickness. Okay, then there are many such things. Look at this. This is a bump mapping. Bump mapping tells you or gives you detail like how much bumpness you want in for the 3D model. So these are some of the things that we need to know or we do. So whereas in the previous times what happened is, this is what we do, we just go to Photoshop or we relied on some other tools, then we painted those things and we come here, we map all the images. So that's how it's been done, and that's not properly done, because I'll show you some example. So let me take you some website where I could you could get some good information like Marmoset. So here you can find some information, useful information about PBR, which is physically based rendering. So what is physically based rendering? That's what they given some information here. So PBR, that's what we discussed about. So physical based rendering. So look at that. When the light comes inside and when it just get into the object and goes out, we call it as diffusion. Whereas when it hits on a surface and reflect back, we call them as reflection. And the point is, in the early days of our method of texturing and shading, what happened is the micro details of the model or on the surface were not properly calculated. So what happened is, because of missing this micro surface details, look at that, micro surface. Imagine that, let's say you are making a material for a mud or a clay or on a surface. Then the details in the muds, these mud details will not be calculated much precisely in shaders because of too much of calculation, because of too much of processing speed requires. So this was not done in the previous time properly. So this is now this is lifted off because of this PBR, physical based rendering, where all the reflection and diffuse and everything is done mathematically properly. So we could get all the details. So if you are an artist, if you're making details in your work, like I'm making some small bump here and there, small crevices and small scratches, small grunges, everything will be calculated and it will be properly reflected. So there is no need to create some fake reflection or fake diffuse or normalizing or averaging the lighting and rendering things. So that's what, look at that, this is what does when it comes to too much of reflection, and when it comes to roughness. So when roughness is there, the light will be diffused everywhere. When the reflection is too much without roughness, then light will be concentrated. So that's what all hell micro surface, which like, so look at that now. Now this mud will be having a reflectivity of 5 and gloss of 16, whereas water has a reflectivity of 5 but gloss is 100%. So here look at that, this material holds a different variety of shader, like different variety of glossness, different variety of metalness, different variety of reflectivity, all those things, whereas this mud has a different one. Now each material holds a different shading purposes with too much of details, so all the micro surfaces will be properly rendered. So it is a kind of a next level of texturing and shading purposes. That's why PBR is widely used. I would highly recommend you guys to read few things before you start with this physical based rendering. So this physical based rendering you could create in many softwares these days. From the topmost is Substance. You could use Substance Painter or Substance Designer. Then you have 3D Coat, and also there are many other tools like Texels and many other tools there. Okay, so let's start with this. So before we start with that, I would like to show you what the model I'm going to work on this. So here, let me do this and don't save. Okay, fine. So let me go to File, and I have an open scene. Okay, I have a baseball bat. So here I have a baseball high is OBJ file and a baseball low file. Let's open a baseball low. So here you could find so this is a baseball low file. Look at that. Here we have material, objects, everything is there. Yep. Here I have a barbed wire and all the things are there. And this is the metal. So this is a low poly model. Okay. Let me open OBJ file here. It's a high poly. Yep, it takes some time because it's heavy. It's really a heavy model, so it may make some time. And since it's an OBJ file, I should have imported it rather than opening it. So that's what mostly it has to be done. So now look at this objects here. Maybe let me go to my 4, 5, 6. Okay, so here I have all the shapes. And look at that. So here is my wire, 1, 2, 3, body, barb, all the things are there. So what I can do is I can go to my window and rendering editors, and I could create some hypershade. So let me open the hypershade here. So yes, I have a hypershade, and okay, now look at that. There are surfaces for that. So for this model, there is I have surfaces. Let me show you that. What are those? So I have AA standard surfaces. For this model, there is one AA standard surface. Look at that. So this AA standard surface, right click and just choose select objects with this material. So these are the materials where this AI shader is applied, which is this object. Yeah, this object. Assign material selection, they are applied. And on this object, right click, select objects with this material. Now it will select the object with this material. And yeah, and this one I would like to name it as for barb, right? So let me name this as barb wires. Great. And this one I would like to name it, so select object with this material. It's like okay, and this one is for wire. Select object with this material. This for it is for wire 2. So this one I just name it as wire 2, and this one for assign material, set of this material. This is for, I'm sorry, yeah, a standard surface, which is for wire 1. So this wire 2, this wire 1, and this is a blend material. I think I should go with some other material. Let me select this material, object, right click, assign a new material, and here I prefer to go to Arnold. I have AI standard surface, a switch. Okay, let me go with AI standard surface. That, I think that would do. Or a flat. Yeah, look at that. This is a flat. Nope, I don't want that. So let me right click, assign new material again. Let me go with Arnold AI standard surface. Great. So I have an AI standard surface now. So after this, let me go to my edit, date and use nodes. So now we'll be having AI standard, then wire 1, wire 2, Lambert is default, then barbed wire. So all of there. Then yep, I think this is for the wood, isn't it? Yep, so this is for the wood. So let's name this as wood. So for my bat, great, for the bat. So since they're all done, let me close this, and so let me save the file. So I'm just saving this. The request type does not, because it's an obj file. Maya can save only ma.mb. So let me select all these 4 things, file, and I would like to export my selection. Export selection, obj, export selection, bat high, and export selection. Bat high already exists. Do you want to replace it? Yep, I want to replace it. So I believe now it's done. Okay, here it is. My bat high is done. Yeah, the file is too heavy still. Great. So after it is done, I think it's time I should go back to my software to get it done. So I minimize this. Let me open my Substance Painter. Great. And before we go to it, I would like to give you a small intro about Substance Painter here. Just like any other software, if you are okay with Photoshop, then it's much easier for you. So don't worry much about it. So as usual, go to viewport, window, toolbars. Look at that, you have everything there. And if you want to reset UI, just hit reset UI. Your UI will be back. So everything's great. Now let me go to file here, and I would like to go to my new. Good. Now it asks me, would you like to select what? So I just select my file here. So select, I have to select my file like scenes, baseball bat, then I have a bat high. Good, bat high is there, and 1024 is the resolution, and I would like to hit OK. Now you could see your bat will be loaded here. Since it can import FBX and OBJ files, it's up to you to decide which format you would like to import into it. It could be either an FBX or an OBJ file. So here is your file. It's just like a Maya shortcut keys. You can use your Alt left click. Whoa, good one. Yep. Then Alt middle click, as usual, tracking, and Alt right click for zoom in, or you can just scroll your mouse wheel. It's good. So anything would do. And here it is your UV. Sorry, this is your UV one. You could see your UV window here. Yeah, this is the UV model, and that's more important. Just before you export your model, and you should check whether you have done your UV. Okay, so that's more important. It's just open your UV editor and see whether the UV is done for the object, because before you take into Substance, the UV should have been done, and here the UV has been done seems. So yeah, UV is done. Okay, so that's much more important. You have to UV unwrap the model. Only after that you should take it to Substance. That is highly recommended. So now here we have all the objects, and before we start with in doing anything in Substance, yeah, here it is your material. Let me go to texture settings. Okay, we have some textures. Look at that, we have textures here. For some convenience, I just click, drag and drop it outside. Yeah, now you could see there this your textures. So by default, Substance Painter could produce you a map like normal, ID, occlusion, everything. So it is just like a one-stop where when you keep on working on your 3D model, like when you keep on painting on a 3D model, at the background all your normal map, height map, specular map, ambient occlusion map, everything will be created. That's really a cool thing about it. So that's really cool, man. Just and one more thing here, look at that, we have one window here. Yep. So we have AI standard surface. Look at that, you remember that? So this is the AI standard surface. Why there are only 4 surfaces here? Because we have 4 AI standard surface. You remember here in your Maya, there are 4 objects. We have applied 4 AI standard surface in our hypershade. Similarly here we have 4. So first thing is, highly recommend you guys to do something like just work with this. So let me select the first one, let me turn it off. Now you know which one. It is a bob wire. You see that it displays on or off, or you can click this. Only this layer will be on solo. The second one is your the wire 1 or wire 2. So select this one and wire 1 or wire 2, and this might be wire 2, and this is your batch. Okay, so you can either use the solo or you can just turn it off the visibility. Anything would do. Great. So this is all done. Now before you work, there is a layer window also. I need to take out my layer window because a layer window will be working a lot in this. Okay, yeah. So first, in the texture settings, the first thing after you open the file, what you have to do is just bake mesh maps. So once I hit this button, it will open a window, ask you what are the maps you would like to create for this. I don't want to create a thickness because I have made a 3D model, so I don't need a thickness of this. But I need a normal map. Tells you about the direction of how the object has to be protruded. Then occlusion tells you about the lighting details like highlight, midtone, sun shadows, then curvature, position, and ID, and world space normal. There are some things there that will be my highly recommended. So let me go with this, all these options, and it asks you use low poly mesh has high poly mesh. No, I don't want to use low poly mesh high poly because I have a high definition mesh. I can even add that. I can click this and I can have a high definition mesh. Great. And everything is done, and let me just go down and hit this bake all texture sets. So click that. Now you could see that it is baking all the texture. It is a normal map. A normal map would be this color. Yeah, now it's world space normal. Then it's creating an ID map. ID map will be used for masking purposes and ambient occlusion for lighting, midtones, highlight and shadows, and curvature. Curvature is to know about the details, the precise details, and position, normal, look at that. And why it's repeating the same thing? Because there are 4 materials we have, which is there are 4 3D models we have. So all the 3D models will be now having normal, ambient, specular, everything is separate. So there are 4 normal, 4 ambient, kind of those. That's why it's taking too much of time. And the moment it is done, you could see all the maps will be listed here in the texture set settings. Okay, and also after that, whatever we draw on the object or we paint or we create something, that will be reflected on this created texture map sets. So please keep that in mind. This is much more important because texture set has to be created before you start about something. And there are some things like it is unable to create an ID map. ID map, we don't need it now because it is all about for masking purposes. So it is okay for me. So I just hit OK. Great. Now you can see there normal, world space normal, ambient occlusion. If you want to see that, just you can see here. It's like normal map and ambient occlusion. Yeah, and this is your curvature and all the things there. Yeah, and after this, I don't want this most of the time. So maybe I can just and I can put this here beneath it. Yeah, it will be here. Texture set settings, and and this is a texture set list which we'll be using, and here is your paint options. We can directly paint, and your layer. If you are good with Photoshop, then you know how a layer works. Similarly, And you guys know well now that Substance is not just a product from Algorithmic, it is now a product from Adobe. So it is now Adobe Substance Painter. So please do keep that in mind. So since Adobe brought this one, it is a much perfect, and I highly recommend you guys to use that. Now look at that. Now the texture, look at that. Even without shadows, you get the shadows because a baking is done. The textures were baked. So it now gave you a look as if there was some real light and there was some shadows fall under this object. But there are no lights here. But there are no real lights, but still it gives you a feel as if some real light. Yeah, that is a real cool option in Substance Painter, I would say. So because the maps are all created, so let's go to File, and we have let's save this file. So save, and I would like to go to my scene files, baseball bat, great, and it's baseball bat. Yep, just baseball is fine. Okay, it's cool. The file is saved. Now let's talk about creating some materials for that. So the number one thing we have to do is it is a normal layer. So before we start with the normal layer, what does the layer do? Look at that. Once you click this button, a new layer will be created. If you want to delete, you can delete this one. So with this layer selected, now you could see there. Now also identify first which object you would like to paint. Now I would like to paint on this, which is a bat, my bat object. And here you could see that you could able to paint on here, but we don't have. You see that the color white is painted. Yeah, so that's how it does. Control Z, great. And just come down here, you can see it has a color, height, roughness, metal and normal. So all this will be shown down here as separate maps. So that really helps you a lot in making things work. So okay, I think can't I make it smaller? Okay, now look at that. I can load a base color here, and I can load a height map, I can load a roughness map, like that. Okay, that's how it works. So the first thing I would like to do is I go to my materials, because I don't want to start everything from the base. I have materials here already, and smart materials. There are many materials here. One is normal, another one is smart materials. So when you just put your mouse on that, it will show you a preview of how the material looks like. Yeah, look at that, man. That's cool, isn't it? These are called smart materials. All you have to do is just drag and drop. It's done. Okay, and you have many in that. Fabric, wooden, iron, steel, and leather, machine, metal, plastic, rubber, all kind of materials are there. So it's up to you to find out which one you would prefer to go with. Yeah, so that's how it works. So in this case, look at that. Does it have aluminum? Yes, we have aluminum even, because baseball bats are made of wood, and also some are made of aluminum. Look at that, we have some wood in here. Yeah, look at that, man. That's some good woods. Yeah, wood chip, and yeah, wood walnut. So let me drag this wood chip, and you can drop it directly, or you can drop it here. Okay, anything would work. I prefer to drop it on an object. Now you could see that it's getting updated. Now the wood chip wall. Yeah, look at that. Now you got the material there. It's updated. Yeah, the object is updated. You have a texture here, texture set list, and look at that. So the UV padding, everything is there. So UV padding is 3D space neighbor. Okay, then yep, we have everything there. Normal, great. And let me go to my texture. Fine. So we have all these options here. Great. And if you don't want, you can select this and you can delete it. Okay, anything would work. So what I can do is let me put some normal wood material first. Okay, and on the top of it I can apply some other materials. So let me take this what's this? It's a wood ship, and yeah, I can take this one and I apply it here. So wood ship hull, look at that. Yeah, man, it's this wood ship hull. This is the bat of the baseball bat. So this is the material. This is inside. Okay, now I just put one material here. Okay, this is a smart material. Great. Now what is next? Let me go to a normal material, or you have a wood material here. Okay, either you can use a material or smart material, it's up to you. So here the difference between a material and smart is the smart material has too many details in it. Just open it, there are too many things. They've added sharpen, they have added some stains, you see that? Yeah, stains. And there are some white stains. Look at that, without that there will be, yeah, there's some white stains. So these are the few things that they have added inside it. This is what a smart material would do. If you don't want a smart material, just delete that and go to just normal material, and there you just type wood, W-O-O-D, you get a wood material, and you have a wood, wood walnut and wood rough. Okay, wood American cherry with that. So let me take this wood walnut kind of wood cherry, and let me wood rough. Let me put this here. Now what you may get is a rough wood, and on the top of the rough wood, on the top of this rough wood, if you prefer wood American, just drop on top of it. Now you could see that. Yeah, now there are two materials on top of each other. Let me just delete this one and go to smart materials, because there is one normal smart material, and on the smart material I would prefer to go to my wood, and here we have many things. Let me go with this one. It's fine, but it's too much. Yeah, I just hit my undo, and I have a wood ship. Let me put this wood ship. Okay, there's a wood ship hull. So this is one. There is one material here, and beneath that material we have we have another wood rough. But what's the point of this? What's the point of having two materials on top of each other? Because under that material we have wood. So there is a wood underneath that, wood rough. Look at that. There is a wood rough underneath that. Then we have wood ship hull Nordic underneath that. So this is the difference. We can create some materials, one on the top of the other. Okay, that you could do, or you can put some wood walnut. Let's see how does this work. Yeah, walnut. I turn this off. This is how walnut looks like. Nope, it doesn't look good. Okay. So I have wood rough, and I have a wood ship. Fine. Okay. Now what I could do is, look at that. Okay, now what's the big deal? Why we have two materials, but why we need two materials? This is the secret here. Now select this top material. We have wood ship hull Nordic like that. Okay, great. Now let me just right click and add a white mask. When I apply a white mask, which means everything in this layer will be visible as such. Okay, if instead of this white layer, if I apply a black mask, look at that. Now this layer is, since nothing is visible. Yeah, so we go to white mask. Great. So with this white mask applied, all I do is I just so with this white mask applied, I just click here and let me add a generator. What is a generator? Why we need a generator? Because if I do my painting here, you see that? Yeah, now the layer which is beneath that is visible. Okay, yeah, everything's visible. Okay, good. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, everything is visible there. But how long I'm going to paint and make this status? That would take too much of my time. So instead of that, let me turn off and on. There is some graphic problem. Yeah. So instead of that, I have a option here. You have to select the mask, and you have an option called Add Generator. Okay. Now you could see the generator is added here. Okay. And if you click this generator, then you see a generator. Just click that, and here is mask options. you can create mask editor or mask builder. Let me choose with mask editor. Okay, now mask editor is created. Okay, what is wrong with that? Now what does this mask editor will do? Now look at this. Just turn this on. Turn this on and off. Now you see that. Yeah, this is what mask editor is doing. So mask editor, what it does is, yeah, now turn this off. You see that? So this is white in color and this is light gray in color. This is a mask which is already given there. Okay, look at this. This is a mask which is applied automatically on top of it. So whichever is white in color reveals the top layer, and whichever is black in color reveals the bottom layer. That's what it does. So why is that? How can I able to control it? Yes, you can able to control it. That's why we have a mask editor here. And look at that, there is a mask editor we added here, and we have global contrast. You can increase that. It will make some changes. Just turn off and on, because if you face some graphical problem, because in mine I don't have a bigger graphics card, so like that now. Yeah, now look at that, it's fine. So without mask how it was before, now with mask how it is before. It's like it's just revealing itself the underneath the layer. And we have curvature. How much curvature you want, you could do that. It's total black. Yeah, now look at that. Yeah, this adds some sense to it, isn't it? So yeah, this really adds some sense to it. Yeah, and that's cool. Now without this mask how it was before, yeah, how it is now. Without the mask it looks like a fresh new bat. Yeah, and with this mask now it is like, okay, great. And if you feel like this mask is not good, I'd like to change some other mask, then it's easy. Just select the mask editor and go here. You have a generator, just close it. That's it, that is gone, back to normal. Now click again. Now we can go with some mask builder. Okay, look at that. It's a mask builder. It has its own. Look at that. It's a mask builder. It's also similar like that. You can either use that or you can use this. Okay, it's up to you. So again, if you feel you're not comfortable with it, just close that and click again. And this time you would like to create your own or something like that. Maybe we can try some grunge. So there you can see some grunge textures. You see that? So whichever is white, whichever area is white, the top layer will be visible in white, and whichever is black, the bottom layer will be visible. So let me add some grunge texture now. That's it, man. Now look at that. There's a grunge texture. Yeah. So look at that, how it was without grunge and how it is now. Okay, which means whichever is black will be displayed at the bottom layer. So if you turn off the layer, now we could see that. Yeah. Now hope you guys understood. So if you're good at Photoshop, if you know about layer mask, then this you would know well about what I'm talking there. And if you feel it's too much grunge, then you can reduce the balance here. You see that? Reduce entirely in the it's become a complete black. If you make full, it's a complete white. So it's up to you to decide how much you want. I don't want too much. Okay, this is fine. A little is a subtle change is really good for things. Yeah, so let me save this one, Control S, it's done. So now we have the two layers, and the two layers are properly done. So this is what generator is made of. Generator really helps you in creating textures. That's really good. Now again, really the next one is I prefer to go with this barbed wire. No, yeah, let's go with wire 1, this wire, which is, yeah, the first one. Okay, so here I would like to go with now look at that. So I would like to go on this wire, the top wire. So in this wire, see, for this object the layer is different one. Yeah, you could see the layer, this is a different layer, and whereas for this object it's a different layer later. You should understand how does it works. Yeah, and here, since it is a metal iron rod, okay, metal aluminum or metal or steel we need. So or iron you could use. So here I'm going to create some so here I could use some I go to normal materials, and here I use rust. I'm sorry, yeah, click here and I type rust. Okay, here we have rust. Look at that, man, that's beautiful rust. Yeah, it's really good rust. Let me go with this rust. Okay, it's applied now. Look at that, rust is applied. Good. And above the rust we need the metal. So let me go with some iron. So there are too many iron here. Maybe I should go with some normal powder coated grinded. Yeah, this is good. Iron raw damaged. Damage is good. Yeah. Okay, this is drag and drop. Okay, the drag and drop. And now you guys know that what we discussed. Because the iron will be having at the inside there will be rust, and above that you will be having the iron material, the painted material. That's why it is on the bottom layer, this is on the top layer. And after this, all you have to do is, right click, add a white mask. Okay, yeah, white mask will display only the top layer. Great. Now select the white mask, go to generator. Great. And in the generator, just click here and choose any of the grunge texture or whichever you're comfortable with. So I think I can go with some yeah, not too much. Yeah, there are many grunge layers, there are many grunge objects you could use. Yeah, we could use that. Yep, I used it here. So we have grunge here. Yeah, so we have grunge, and not too much of the inner surface is visible. Yeah, maybe I can balance it out. Yeah, look at that, the balance.